folks, and welcome to another video. Now, first off, apologies for my absence. I was checking the last video that I uploaded to my YouTube channel, and it was the 27th of June, so well over a month ago. The reason really is I had a couple of real life projects that were just eating up so much time, and I really didn't have an awful lot of time for sim racing or producing videos. However, these two projects are now complete, so normal service is resumed. What is today's video about? Well, this will be my last ever PlayStation 4 video, and the reason for that is I have bought a PlayStation 5 and I have bought a PSVR2 headset. Now, I will tell you a little bit more about my recent purchases later in this video, but what this video is it's not VR, it's just a nice pancake replay from different angles of a 5-lap race I did at Bathurst on my PlayStation 4 in this absolute beast of a car. Now, have no fear, I will be uploading some nice VR videos from the PlayStation 5 and Gran Turismo 7 once I've had a good chance to try them out. I might even try some live streams from the PS5, so keep an eye on the channel for these coming along. The car you're seeing is the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, the Exorcist edition, and I will not lie to you, I have spent a few Scottish pounds upgrading this car. It is a rocket ship, and what you're seeing here is some of the scapes that are included in Gran Turismo 7. Absolutely stunning. Some of these look to me like real life. It's just so hard to imagine that they are computer generated. I mean, look at this one here. Look at the lighting. Isn't that absolutely stunning? It amazes me that the PS4 is still capable of pumping graphics out like this. In real life, this Camaro ZL1 is tuned by Hennessy and has 1,000 brake horsepower. Wow! Top speed of 217 mile an hour, 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds, $96,000 to $135,000 depending on how you want to spec it. Not exactly cheap. So let me tell you about this deal that I got on the PlayStation 5. Sony were running their Days of Play promotion round about a month or so ago, and they had a deal for the PlayStation 5 digital edition, so there's no Blu-ray drive in there. I didn't feel I needed one, and the price for that was $349.99, 40 quid off, and I thought, well, that's pretty good for a starter. But it actually chucked in 12 months of Netflix Premium at $17.99 a month. So that was a total credit for Netflix of $215.88. Now, our Netflix account is in my wife's name, so once I bought this PlayStation 5, I was emailed a code which I gave to my wife. She applied it to her account, and it immediately credited her account with £215.88. We didn't bother upgrading our Netflix subscription to Premium. We just kept it exactly what it was, which I think is the lowest tier, and that's going to pay our Netflix for the next couple of years easily. So the actual cost of the PlayStation 5 came down to £134.11, and when I connected it all up and fired it up for the first time, it offered me a choice of several games. You could pick one game from several choices, so I picked F123, not the very latest version, but still probably around a good 30 quid's worth, so that brought the PlayStation 5 down to around about £100 for me. And then the icing on the cake, last week I bought a PSVR2 headset because they had a deal on £200 off, so I got it for $350. What a steal. So let me chat a little bit about my experiences in the first few days of the PSVR2 on my new PlayStation 5 whilst we're watching this 5-lap race around Bathurst in this absolutely stunning car. I'm no stranger to VR. I bought the first PSVR headset for the PlayStation 4 and I've had an Oculus Rift S for about 3 years on my PC. Whoops, that will buff out with a little bit of T-cut. The PSVR1, whilst good for its time, is a little bit dated now, and I sold mine about a year ago on eBay. I just hardly ever used it. The Oculus Rift S has been fantastic over the past 3 years. Certainly things like Automobilista 2, Assetto Corsa, they look great through that headset. However, production of that stopped a long time ago. It's been superseded at least a couple of times now, so I was interested to see how the PSVR2 would compare against it. There are a few similarities. They're both tethered headsets, which doesn't bother me. I don't mind having a wire dangling out the side, it doesn't get in the way. Most of my time is spent on driving sims, so I'm not really moving around too much, and I think you get better graphics with a tethered headset than you would do over Wi-Fi. Now, if memory serves me right, I come very close to losing it here. Just round this next corner. Oh my god, look at that. And coming up on the back of these cars very, very rapidly. Managed to just brake in time. So yes, what was I saying about the specs of the two headsets? Looking at the other specs, well, on the Oculus Rift, it is 1280 by 1440 per eye, whereas on the PSVR2 it is 2000 by 2040, so higher resolution for a start. The Oculus Rift S runs at 80 Hz, so 80 frames per second, and it has 110 degrees field of view, and the PSVR2 will run at 90 or 120 Hz, so much higher than the Oculus Rift S, but it also has a field of view of around 110. I found the setup of the PSVR2 out the box really, really good. Simple one cable plugging in. There was a little firmware update to do first of all, which only took a couple of minutes, and then the actual setup where it guides you through the eye tracking, setting that up properly, and getting your IPD, interpupillary distance, set up properly. Oh dear, we're off again. And yeah, that was all really, really straightforward and really nicely done. As you can see, that little grass excursion has completely thrown me off my rhythm, and it takes me a few corners to get my mojo back. I think this is probably the last corner that I'm going to whack the car off the side, and then we're back to some proper driving. And then setting up the hand controllers was easy as well. I'm still finding it a little difficult when I can't see the controllers to get them on my hands in the proper way. That'll just be a bit of muscle memory. I always have to use the pass-through button on the VR headset to actually see what I'm doing and make sure I've got the correct controller in the correct hand and everything. But that's more my fault than the actual controller's fault. So, no surprise, the very first game I fired up with the PSVR2 was Gran Turismo 7, and my god, what a game changer. As I mentioned before, I am well used to using VR and driving sims on my PC, so I know how good it can look and I know what the immersion factor is like. However, I really think Gran Turismo 7 takes it to a whole new level. Before you even get in the car, if you go to a car showroom, you can then use the controller to seamlessly move around the outside of the car, zooming in and out on details such as the rear lights, the front lights, and really appreciate all the work that the graphic artists have put in to every single car model on Gran Turismo 7. And then when you get inside, looking at all the cabin interior in VR, with all the dials and the texture of the cabin interior, whether it's plastic or leather or wood in some cases, it is absolutely mind-blowing. And that's before you even hit the circuit. Once you hit the circuit, the feeling of immersion is just second to none. You feel like you are in the car, and the visuals through the PSVR2 headset are really, really good. Now, I know it is only rendering the very centre of the headset in high definition, and everything else around that is in a lower resolution, but you do not notice that. You do not notice that at all. As soon as your eyes move to top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, wherever, if you're glancing at your mirrors, that's the bit that will be sharp to you, and everything else around in your peripheral vision will be a lower resolution, and this allows it to run at such a high frame rate, and it is absolutely seamless. It works perfectly. So here we are starting lap 4 of 5 of this race round Bathurst. You will have noticed that I am in the lead now. My car was so overpowered that it was very easy to get past everyone. For this last 2 laps, it is a lovely showcase of the sun going down, the changes in light, and what you can see in the distance as we climb the hill here at Bathurst. So keep an eye in the background, certainly for this lap and the last lap. You can see that the sky and the lighting is taking on a kind of orangey, pinky hue to it as the sun goes down here. Oh, another little scalp on the wall there for good measure. So I haven't really tried any other PSVR2 titles yet apart from Gran Turismo 7. I think I've downloaded a demo of a Star Wars title, so I'll give that a little bash. However, if you've got any recommendations, if you've owned a PSVR2 headset for a little while and you've got some recommendations for me for some games to buy, then do leave them in the comments. I'd be very interested to hear what these recommendations are. So here we are coming down, approaching the last lap of this thrash round Bathurst. Look at that view there, isn't that beautiful? And you can start to see the brake discs glowing from the car. There we go, oh beautiful. You could fry an egg on these brake discs. So yes, overall impressions so far of my PSVR2 headset after only owning it for about a week. Very, very impressed. I was certainly never going to bite the bullet at £550. I thought that was way too expensive for it, and I was waiting for this price drop. I kind of thought it would come, and from what I read online, the sales of that headset went up by 2,000%. That is unbelievable. It just shows you that a price drop to something more realistic can reinvigorate a piece of hardware, and let's hope that this does it for the PSVR 2, because Sony were kind of ignoring it a little. Look at that, the city in the background there. Wow, look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I mean, bear in mind, this is footage from my PlayStation 4, not my PlayStation 5. I will be uploading some footage from the PS5, and I see that you can actually capture footage in a higher resolution, so it will be even better than this. I will capture some VR footage for you, and let you see it. I might even try and recreate this race. But isn't it amazing that the PS4 is still able to pump out really good graphics like this? I'm in two minds what to do with my PS4. It's sitting underneath a table at the moment, all disconnected. I'm in two minds whether to sell it or whether to move it through to my office and keep it as a second console. I might just do that. So yes, if you are thinking of buying a PSVR2, I mean I bought it almost purely for Gran Turismo 7 and I am very happy with it so far. Let me know your thoughts if you've just bought one or if you're a seasoned user, and I hope you enjoyed this video guys, and I will see you very soon for another one. Cheers for now, it's nice to be back.